Ooh, hold on. Okay, we are live. So hello there, welcome to Genessis Models. My name is Bobby Waldron. Now this is one of our first sort of live shows. It's something that I've dabbled in the past, but I want to bring back again, because basically I've gone off, I've got internet into the workshop, got out the old webcam, and want to give this another go, because I know a few of you have said how, I mean, as much as the videos I do at Genessis Models is you know, it's edited, you know, it's shortened down, you know, doing live builds, you know, I mean, some of you might consider it a little bit boring because it's just me live building it, but then I know I've had a bit of feedback of people who'd like to see me in real time actually building a model, and not only that, I know a lot of you like to sit back, relax, build your own model, and just have in the background, you know, something on in the background, and that's pretty much what this is for, as well as there is also a live chat as well. So you know, you can be building your own model, you might have a problem, type it in the chat, and then, you know, you're more good for me to sort of maybe show you something nice and live. So hopefully you're gonna hopefully like this new live thing, and I know there's probably a few bugs I've got to try and sort out, because, you know, I mean, I haven't done this for a while. I don't know where the sound's going to come out, to be fair. I've done a bit of testing, but I just thought I'd just like to jump right in there. Now, for these live live sessions, I want to be doing them on a set time as well, so everyone can come together, knowing what time to watch and everything. So I'm kind of thinking, probably like a Friday, maybe between 4 and 8 o'clock. Again, I mean, feedback, give me that feedback and I can change those times and dates. You know, this is all just experimental, so nice bit of feedback and I can sort of get it the way you want it. And in each one of these builds, I'm basically going to have myself a little side build, away from like the normal video in build, step by steps and all that kind of stuff. I do want to sort of just have a nice side build specifically for this, and I did go out and get this absolute beauty. To be honest with you, I was so excited about this build. It's a brand new build, the Vickers Wellington Mark 1 AC. That is by Airfix. It's 1/72 scale. And as I say, I got a bit too excited and I've already started it. So let's take a look. Now, this is live, so you're going to see me playing around with cameras and stuff. So let's just get this sorted. Sorry for shaking you about. Okay, here we go. And here it is. I've already sort of started our Vickers Wellington just here, trying to get the camera right. I have sort of already done all the cockpit area. It is kind of hard to see in there. It is 1/72 scale, so I haven't gone all fancy smanchy with it. It is, I mean, really, it is just a simple spraying down a silver paint, and I just put like a Games Workshop black wash on there, and it just sort of shows off the inside a bit. But not too much. We've got some decals deep down in there. You're probably not going to pick this up on a webcam or something, but you know, it's not too bad. You're not really going to see it all. I have done our wings here as well, which do nicely slot onto here. It's a pretty good fit, but underneath, I mean, there's just a slight bit of gappage, so as much as I'd like to spray it with them off, I think I am going to actually glue them on, because that way I can do some filler and all that kind of goodies and all that kind of stuff. So what I'm going to do now is just going to crack on, start building this, and hopefully you'll enjoy. So you guys sit back, relax, build your own models. Feel free to get onto the chat, ask questions, and we will get building. So this has had enough time to dry now, so I'm just going to get out some sanding sticks. All right, 1 second. There we go. So sanding sticks. As you can see, it'd be nice if I could zoom this camera in, but again, we are just, you know, taking it as it goes, really. So I'm just coming in with a nice sort of spongy, fine sanding stick. It's good because it goes with the curvature, so we don't get any flat tops. And hopefully we should be able to just give this, you know, a quick little sand, because it doesn't look too bad a fit. I'm not seeing any gaps, but just a little sand should hopefully smooth that across. Yeah, that looks kind of nice. There we go. Might be able to pick that up. Again, live cameras aren't as good as good old actual filming, but you want to see me do this live. Just getting out of blade because I've still got the tabs on. But I don't mind sometimes leaving the tabs on and gluing these together. Got a couple of people in the chat. Welcome, welcome. Spruce Surgeon, this is regular Hangout. It's going to be a regular Hangout, fingers crossed. I'm thinking like Friday between, I don't know, something like 4 till 8, all depending. Any feedback on times anyway. Can always change them because this is the first one. Got a question here. Okay. Can Vallejo retarder be used with Revel Aqua? I don't actually have any Revel Aqua on me, but I do believe if you check out, I've done a video on homebrew thinners. You can pretty much use this with everything. I've not had anyone say that it doesn't work with any type of paint, and that video's on Genessis Models website. Probably under tutorials or something like that. How much paint do I have? More than I actually use. I mean, I could probably just quickly show you. Let's just move you around. There's like most of my paints, but there are, hey cameraman, there is a bunch more down there I need to put onto shelves as well. And there's a few more in the cupboard as well. It's just nice to have all those paints on standby for whatever build I might want to sort of do, rather than like going off buying them or anything like that. It is quite nice, but kind of unnecessary to be fair. Carry on sanding this away. How many people are in the chat? Oh, 25. Not bad, not bad. Welcome to Genessis Models if you've just got here. I'm just building the Wellington. Nice new kit by Airfix. I have actually done a inbox review of this. I'm just in the process of editing it up and throwing it up onto the Genessis Models website. That should hopefully be done by the end of the week. And this build will be specifically for these live shows. Don't think that's going to need any filler, should be fine. Maybe come in with a bit more of a coarser sanding stick. It's a bit flatter at the back here. Don't know about you, but it is pretty damn hot in the UK. So I've got a fan on in the background, so I'm hoping it's not messing up with the sound. Finish off with a fine sanding stick just to tidy that all up. A few little bits just here. Trim off these little tabs I haven't removed yet. A little one just here. There we go. And then I should be able to glue this on fairly nice, hopefully. Checking all around. Yeah, that should be good. Maybe coming with some elastic bands, I think. Again, this model is the new Airfix one, 1/72 Vickers Wellington tool. Really do love it. As you can see, I've already started it before I even set up this live vlog. So I'm just putting like elastic band around this because I want it to really sort of bite down onto our fuselage. We're going to watch these. You got these Bombay doors, which are already molded on. You don't glue them on, so you've got to be careful you don't bend them, which has its advantages and its disadvantages. Let's get another one on the opposite side. Maybe this engine bit will take it. Yeah, might be enough. I've got a question about the HMS Victory. Yeah, that is a monster of a build. You know, that has been I've already spent years on it. I'm still sort of just planking down the hull. It is a nice build, but it is so, you know, it is a very kind of professional sort of level. You know, it is colossal. It's like 1 point something meters long and everything. It's one of these builds that I am just slowly sort of working along with. So hopefully you can bear with me on it. And that looks in place. Not too bad. So let's get out the Tamiyac thin cement and just slowly work our way around. And hopefully the two pieces of plastic will melt together, bring the plastic together even better, and remove these tiny little gaps that you do slightly get. I mean, the gaps aren't too bad with this wing and fuselage, right? But there's enough there for me to kind of want to put a bit of filler down. Right, so hopefully, you know, the glue will push it together, melt it together, and then I won't have to use any filler. That's the whole reason why I'm using the elastic bands, to apply that pressure to sort of squeeze it a little bit. But I've got a feeling we're going to need a little bit just on the underside. You might be able to see that on camera actually. It was just like a tiny bit of a gap, but no big deal. So that's one wing section, which I'll probably later off camera I might do the same to the other side, but that needs a bit of time to dry. Just check on some more questions maybe. I've got a one here. What is my favorite type of model to build? Ooh, God, there's lots of different types of models for lots of different types of reasons, really. I do like painting little miniatures because, I mean, you can sort of start and finish them pretty quick, and you do get that satisfaction of like finishing them pretty quick. But then at the same time, I do like to build some nice sort of big fighter jets like FA-18s, F-15s, even some old school like the English Lightning, that kind of thing, because they're nice, big, and sort of nice centerpieces. But then at the same time, I do like a good 1/48 scale like World War II fighter, because they're pretty easy. Hold on. Note to self, make sure I turn that off for the next one. But yeah, 1/48 scale fighters are really good for beginners. They're really good for if like you know, you've done a big model and it's took a lot of time, your mojo's been sucked up a bit. Doing a nice little 148 fighter just sort of, you know, rekindles sort of your mojo, getting your mojo back, because it's kind of nice and easy. And yeah, not one particular, shall we say, models I like to do. It's just depending on the circumstance, really. Anyway, any more questions? Matt Hall, is this venue for asking questions? Well, I mean, this is just me building the Vickers. You guys can sit back, build your own model. You want to ask some questions, answer them while I'm potentially building whatever model I'm doing. In this case, we're doing the Vickers Wellington. How old am I? I'm about 35. Yeah, sort of oldish, you could say. This one could do with a bit of filler. So I'm just getting out Vallejo plastic putter. I really like this filler. It's the application of it is just so easy. Right, can leave that to dry and give that a sand later. Got a question for how long have I been building models? I mean, I've been building them since I was probably like 12 or something, but I mean, oh yeah, that's it's going back a bit. I mean, that was just kind of messing about, playing around, but really sort of going at it professionally. I mean, we're talking maybe 8 years ago, and I started sort of building models on commission, and then the videos started, and now I just kind of like build and film how to build models, really, just sort of like teaching it. I've got a question from Matt Hall about EZ line used for aircraft rigging. I have got some line around. I do have some somewhere in one of these drawers. But the question is, I mean, like, you know, 1/48 scale, 1/72 scale, do you need different sizes? I would go for different sizes. But there's not just EZ line. Well, I mean, EZ line's good. We've also got this, can't even pronounce it. I think it's German. I got it from, just bring it up to the screen. I did get it from Europe somewhere. I think it was Germany. But what's cool about them, the size of their sort of, shall we say, EZ line is just so small. You can hardly see it. But yeah, I would sort of, depending on, you know, the scale of the model, depends on which size you use. I can't remember what size I did use for most of my 1/48. But I definitely sort of change the size for what scale you're using. Arnold says he wants to do a B-52. Is that the one that Hong Kong models did a 1/48 scale, or was it a 1/32 scale of? Because that is a beast if you're going to do that one. Got another question here. What lacquers do I recommend? I mean, really, if you can stay away from lacquers, the better, because, you know, it is, you know, kind of dangerous, harmful for your health. And, you know, if you're doing all sorts of spraying, you don't want to be spraying enamels and lacquers, which is why we've all sort of moved along and gone to the old acrylics and everything. So, but if I was to use any kind of lacquers, I mean, Alclads 2 is a good one. For doing natural metal finishes. Apart from that, I don't really use any sort of lacquers. I mean, we do have these lovely enamel natural metal finishes by AK. They're extreme metal. They're good. But to be fair, I mean, these days you've got like New Metal Color by Vallejo, which is a really good natural metal finish, and you know what, it's acrylic based, so you know it's less harmful, less smelly. And Games Workshop does a load of nice acrylic based natural metal finishes as well, so you know, kind of don't really use them as much anymore. Then we've got Barnard's about oil paints. Which ones are best for pin washes? Oh, pin washes all depends on what you're after, maybe what sort of skill level you're at, right? Because what we've got oil based, we've got sort of water based. I do like these panel line washes. These ones are by MIG. It does all sorts of colors. It's basically enamel paint that's really thinned down to the point where it just nicely flows into panel lines. I do believe AK Interactive does sort of like a similar version. You could make your own by just getting normal enamel paints and just thinning it to the right consistency. You can go off and use water-based ones, which, you know, we've got some Flurry Models ones here, which is just plain simply water, pigments, and a bit of washing up liquid. It's you know, nicely in a pot there, and you basically just whack it all on and rub it all off. There's plenty of videos on the internet to look at, you know, how to use them and stuff. But I do find that water-based sort of washes is kind of a bit more sort of basic. It just gives you that nice panel lines, you know, filled in. But when you use stuff like the enamel versions, you can fill in your panel lines, but you can also, you know, give it a bit of a light streaking effect all over at the same time, which then kind of brings you into advanced and intermediate sort of modeling. So it depends how far you want to go. But yeah, oil-based and enamel-based pin washes, they do take a bit of time as well to sort of get those effects. Any more questions? Bruce Sharp asks, what's my favorite scale to work with? I mean, it's got to be 1/48 scale. It's sort of not too big that it takes up loads of space, but it's not too small that you can't get all the detail in there. However, when it comes to bombers like this, going 1/48 scale with World War II bombers and stuff is just going to be too big. So, you know, 1/72 scale is good on this just there. But it is kind of cool to sort of jump in there and do a 1/32 scale now and again, because you can really get some detail. But 1/48 is sort of like a bit of a standard, to be fair, for me. Oh. Who's hot in the UK? I'm boiling. Let's give this a bit of a trim where I've missed it. So this is why you've got to be careful with pegs. I've pegs accidentally, well, the peg has sort of touched just here and the glue's sort of gone on it and it's sort of melted the plastic. So I'm going to give this a bit of a sanding just here, just to get rid of, in fact, no, that's kind of gone deep. I might have to put some filler on that. Always be careful with your pegs and gluing your models together. Just reading some more questions. Got one from Frank about primers. When it comes to primers, it's I could possibly show you a good example actually if I've got a piece. I've normally got a test bed somewhere. 1 second. Ooh. Maybe I'll show it you later on. Oh, here we go. It's already primed as well. That's nice. The best example for why we need sort of like primers, right, is natural metal finishes will show us that reason quite well. What I've got here is this has been nicely primed, black, and non-primed